Good morning, it's match day. You probably know that already. You probably heard me say that already if you tuned into the Gio and Gonzo breakfast thingy, which probably didn't contain any breakfast. I don't know, I've not got there yet. It's sort of 6 o'clock on Tuesday at the moment. But I'm doing this early, good preparation for match day. Yes, match day. No points day, losers day, squeaky bum day. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe we'll get a point. Anything could happen. But one thing probably will, and I think we all know what it's going to be. But anyway, usually in the build-up to a match day, David Moyes will do a press conference. All managers do. Yesterday was no different. Obviously, he's not having the press in there at the moment. So they're all doing it via Skype or Zoom or whatever you want to call it. So normally they bore the hell out of me. The journalists don't ask very good questions. They're very good, aren't they, managers, football people in general, at saying nothing at all. But I thought there were a couple of comments in this one which sort of got me thinking, which I thought were quite interesting. I'm reading from Football London, and Sam Inkersole has transcribed, is that right? Translated? Transgender? Probably not that, is it? No, he's definitely not done that. Whatever. He's taken it from the words that came out of David Moyes' mouth, and he's typed them up. So I'm going to read from that. So thank you, Sam. Sam Inkersole from Football London. And I'm going to sort of translate it again for you, but that's fine because obviously I speak better English than David Moyes, although he probably does know the word for transcribed or whatever it might be. Anyway, let's get on to it. It starts off a little bit slow, but there's some interesting bits in there, which I think are probably quite telling in terms of David Moyes' mindset, if you like. So, the first question was, what's the latest team news? He says, yeah, they're getting closer. They've both been out on the grass. Yeah, they're getting closer. They've both been out on the grass, joining in bits of training. I think he means that they've been not in the gym. They've been out training outside. We're hopeful we can get them around the team. I think he means Sebastian Haller and Angelo Ogbonna. I'm not sure if they are exactly ready yet, but they're getting closer. That's all I can say. He can say no more, says David. Right, so that's the start of it. So basically, I think that's him saying no Haller, no Ogbonna. That's no surprise to us, is it? Any other injury concerns, David? He said, no, we've got Arthur Masuaku back, or trying to get back. He rolled his ankle just a couple of days before the start. He's on the grass as well. I'm not making this up. He has actually said that. He's on the grass as well. I tell you what, that's bad news, isn't it, really? I don't know what the testing procedures are. We know they're being tested for COVID-19. But if he's doing that, then it ain't great. Anyway, so he says he's on the grass as well. He's trained a little bit with the young players as well. Sorry, that's tickled me more than it probably should have done. So that's him getting closer. He's not sure whether Arthur Masuaku will be ready for Chelsea. David, what have you learned from the game so far? What I have found is that I've played 2 Champions League teams who wouldn't look at a place in the Champions League. Well, anyway. If they qualified, Wolves and Tottenham, that's what he's talking about. He said, you've seen how well Wolves have started, and we know all about Tottenham. I actually think we're always going to have a difficult return with the teams we had to play, and it's proved to be. You know what he's saying. I guess we could be pernickety, argue the toss whether they were Champions League teams, but he's saying it was always going to be difficult. We're playing good teams. He said, I actually think we've done a lot of good things. There are some times when teams are in a position you get questioned a little bit, but we had our second best physical stats from the game against Tottenham. We have our 3rd most sprints of the season, which is quite impressive considering everyone's been on the grass. But I guess you've got to take small things, small positives. And I do think we played better, but clearly there's a man really looking at his stats. I just often wonder with Moyes if he's looking at, I say Moyes, like we're mates, David Moyes, if he's not looking at the wrong stats sometimes. So, but we know this. You don't run, you don't play. That's David Moyes' mantra. He says, I think sometimes you have to be careful you're not looking at the wrong picture. We feel there are a lot of good things that we're trying to do, and what we haven't done is scored when we've had opportunities. And most of all, we haven't concentrated fully for the 90 minutes. OK, I mean, fair enough. I'm not really sure about the second best physical stats of the season against Tottenham You know, I don't know. If that's if that's the second best we've done all season against Tottenham, we are massively in trouble, because whilst it was a bit better than Wolves, it wasn't really good enough to win football matches, was it? What question did he get asked here? He said, has it helpful having a week in between games? He said, I think it's been helpful, given a chance to settle down. I think it was a bit unfair that we had to play Tottenham 2 days after, and they had a day longer. He said it's a little bit different for Frank and Chelsea because they had... That's my phone, by the way. I should have turned that off. Probably Moyes phoning, texting me, isn't it? He said, basically, Chelsea have had fixture congestion. He's pleased that they had a little break, I think it's fair to say. He said, he was asked, are you encouraged from beating Chelsea this season? He says, well, I hope the team can take comfort from it. We're looking for positives. We're looking for things to keep us nice and high. I think, bearing in mind what he discussed before, I'm not making this up. Bearing in mind that everyone's on the grass, I think he should stop. He probably shouldn't say we're looking for things to keep us nice and high. He said, when I was here last time, we beat Chelsea at home, and as you rightly said, the players had good results against them this season. So we have to look at it as a real positive. But I was one of the fortunate ones that went to see Chelsea against Manchester City in midweek, and undoubtedly we saw two very good teams, two technically gifted teams, and obviously a real good game as well. Don't know what that means exactly. Said on the... No, actually, I'm not going to read that. A word on the three players who left the club today. Don't worry about it. There's something about the 125th birthday for West Ham. He goes on about we've got a lovely history. He said he wants to build a new history, make new history, create something which gives us a feeling of hope for the future. He said first things first is to win our next 4 or 5 games. I like that talk. That's what we need to do. Make sure we're a Premier League club. If we do that, and I can start building a new history, and I want to be the guy to do it. Now, we may mock and we may laugh. We need him to want to be the guy to do it. Otherwise, he ain't going to be able to win those 4 or 5 games. But that's what I want him to see. He said, I've got a lot of ideas and thoughts where I want to take the club. He said there's been some unbelievable managers and players at this club who are recognised worldwide, like Avram Grant. He was asked, will the season go down to the Villa game on the last day? History is tough to judge when you don't know what league you're going to be in next year yet. Maybe that wasn't transcribed as I thought it might be. He says, I always thought it could basically go down to the last game. Always felt there was a good possibility that when you looked at the fixtures. The history, we can't make that just yet. Well, you can. You have to wait until tomorrow and then there's a history. We've got lots of... See, this video, for me, the start of this video is history, but at the moment, for you, it's still the future, because you're not watching it. It's time... I've watched Back to the Future, and... what's the other one? Doctor Who. I understand about time travel. He says, as long as you recognise your mistakes and can improve, I think we have a chance of getting better. Well, I think that's probably the most important thing he said in the press conference, because it does look to me a lot of the time like mistakes are made and they're not learnt from. He said, I certainly recognise that. I want to improve the club, improve personally. I want to do things that can hopefully make the club better. At the moment, I don't think Moyes might have done it again. Letting it slip, aren't I, really? I think he needs to concentrate less on making the club better at the moment and just making the team perform better for the next few games. He said, you need a goal scorer. Is that your biggest concern? One of the journalists asked that. He said, let's be fair. We haven't had some score loads and loads of goals prior to it. He's talking about Haller's injury. And there isn't a magic wand to change it. We have had to change it, get goals from every area of the pitch and the grass, I suppose. He said, not just a centre-forward. So he's saying we haven't got a centre-forward, we have to spread the load of goals. The rest of them have to share the goals out. Well, bearing in mind the strikers are not scoring any goals, then actually there's 0 goals. There is being shared evenly throughout the team, isn't it? Because everybody has an equal amount of no goals, which is a positive. He said we need the centre-half to come up with one, really, with one. A free kick, someone to score from distance. It just won't be down to one person. I'm more interested in what the team does than what any one person will do. I laugh, I mock. I won't be laughing. Well, I will be laughing. What was I going to say? I won't be laughing if a centre-back scores against Chelsea. I will. I absolutely will. I'll be cheering. I'll be high five. Won't be high. I'll be myself. I'll probably be High-fiving yourself is clapping, right? I'll be clapping. Anyway, he said, this game is a free hit. Norwich, Burnley, Watford are more winnable. That journalist has said this game is a free hit. He didn't like this one. Moyes, he didn't like this one. He said, we'll have played 3 teams that are going to go for the Champions League who have quality all over at the moment. I'd never used the words free hits. I've never had a game in my career that's a free hit. You have to win. Absolutely. I'm trying to win the games. All the games. It doesn't matter who we play. I think, I do agree with that. I think he is. I think he did try to win the game against Wolves. I did think he tried to win the game against Tottenham. But David Moyes' idea of winning a game is, I think, different to having the adventure to go and win a game. I think he thinks he's going to sit back, keep it tight, and then hit them on the break and score and win 1-0. His desire to win a game is to win a game with no goals conceded and us scoring few, if that makes any sense, rather than the adventure to go and grab the ball by the horns and actually go and really attack a team. He said, we went to Anfield not so long ago, and we gave a really good account of ourselves. That's true. In more recent games, when it has looked like the odds were against us, we have given a really good account of ourselves and gone very close. Yeah, I'm not so sure. He says, I have to hope one of these days we tip the balance and the results go our way, but I don't disagree. We have to score more goals. Yes. But in truth, we have not to concede, because that makes it so much harder. See, there's always a caveat. There's always something. There's always sort of damns his first comment with faint praise and makes it less important with his second, which is we've got to keep it tight about. Yes, you've got to keep it tight about, but you do also have to score. Mark Noble, your talisman, how important is he in the relegation battle? Reliable, resilient, and a leader. All the words to describe him. He's got it all. There are times when we will have to look after him because he's a bit older. But the situation we're in at the moment, we need Mark Noble because he knows what it means. He's been there. He can take on jobs many others can't. He can take responsibility, agree with that. When the chips are down, he's going to do everything he can. I mean, I agree with half of that. I just don't think we can pin all our hopes on Mark Noble. We really can't. He's not got it all. He has. That's the problem. He is reliable. He is resilient, and he is a leader. But he's not got it all. I hope he was just being, you know, letting his talk, letting his answer get away with him, if you like, and with that, because I hope he doesn't think that he has it all in that sense, because we're going to look by Moyes' own account, we're going to need goals from other areas of the team. I just hope we don't continue from now until the end of the season to see Mark Noble in that number 10 role. That's pretty much it. Oh, no, sorry. Positives from Spurs, battling spirit. He said, as I said earlier, the Spurs game had our second best physical stats of the whole season. It was our third best amount of sprints and we'd made across the whole season. So sometimes people can get the wrong impression. I don't think they can. No, I mean, this is really frustrating, actually, to be honest. I hadn't read this bit before. So we played the Spurs team with some top players. I thought our players did everything they could to get a result. I thought someone might have asked about that handball, but that's obviously gone now. But the fact of the matter is, it did have an impact on the game. I think he's concentrating too much on a handball. I didn't think it was a handball. I think it was really marginal. It may have brushed his arm. If he's pinning everything on that, then it's wrong. I said to the players immediately after the game that they worked incredibly hard. Good, so you should. You've got to keep the spirits up. I didn't know about the handball until after I saw it. Well, if that's the case, if you hadn't seen the handball, you didn't know there was a handball, then during the game surely just make some change to impact the game, to affect the result. If I'd seen it during the game, I would have gone apoplectic. Really? At the side of the pitch, because of how unfair the decision was. But I didn't see it, and the goal was given. Both are true. Certainly the second part of that is true. I don't know. Look, it says those moments could be critical then. Must be frustrating. Yes, I'm repeating myself, but I said to the players at the end of the game, we need to do something to change our luck. Well, that's the point. You do something to change your luck. You don't wait on the referee to do it for you. The saying through life has always been, the harder you work, the more luck you get. I think it's the more I practice, the luckier I get. But anyway, I don't think that has really changed. The harder you work, you try to do everything you can, your luck will change. And that's the way we are looking at it. They're waiting for luck to change. He's waiting for the referee to give a decision. He's waiting for a centre-back to pop up with a goal, which hopefully happened. I don't want to tear that apart, but I just wonder. I wonder if he was just waffling. We're all guilty of a bit of waffling from time to time, that's for sure. But I look at that press conference and it doesn't fill me with confidence. Hopefully, come this evening. So we've got a build-up show at about 7:10, I think, this evening, where we reveal the lineups. Hopefully, whatever, about 10 o'clock this evening, I'm proved very, very wrong. And we get a win. We beat Chelsea. We are looking pretty good. It's not the be-all and end-all, but I do think 3 more wins may well be enough. The Bournemouth and Newcastle game is a big one, but it's in our hands at the moment. We're not in the bottom 3. That's the thing he's got to grasp the nettle. Win the games, we stay up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yo, front doors, motherfucker, open it wide up. How you mean? Yeah, MC step up. What? Fuck a list of love. Yo, as open close windows to us all today. No cars to feel like road holes. Call the freeway, front doors, so some back doors shut like the